Eye surface growths are some of the biggest challenges that usually occur to eyes, but are very mistaken for something else, and also very few people can understand what they really are, and that's why we are here today to understand what are eye surface growths, who is most at risk, what causes them, but also how can they be prevented. But they're very common in places where there is very high UV radiation, as well as wind and a lot of dust, like here in Kampala, which is why we have to understand what they really are. And here this morning to help us understand further, we have Dr. Irene Nansubuga, public health ophthalmologist, Uganda Cancer Institute, and she's going to help us further break down eye surface growths. My name is Viola Sasira, and you're welcome to NTV Medical Matters. We are supported by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Without further ado, let's dive in, but also keep in mind we are streaming live on X as well as our website at NTV Uganda, and you can also be a part of the conversation by later on calling in and asking the doctor your personal questions. You're welcome once again, and let's dive in. So Dr. Irene, you're welcome. It's very good to have you here.
Thank you.
Yes, eye surface growths. What is it? How can you break it down for our viewers this morning to be able to really understand it without the medical terms?
Okay.
And oh, before we go ahead, I apologize for that. We have a story that we were able to cover in the field, and this is an example of somebody who had just a slight problem as he thought it was, but later on he lost his eye because of the same. Sometimes some of the challenges that we face when it comes to eye care are very difficult for us to understand as a common person or layman, but when we speak to a specialist, they're able to tell us what exactly is happening to our eyes. A very ordinary case can result into a very dire situation, and that's the case for David Otiang that we are speaking to today. So thank you so much for joining us for this conversation. Let us dive in. David, tusanyusa okusanga. Katandike mbozi okuva mu kutandika nga tonnabalwala, obulamu bwali butya ate nga eyo change wagirabira ku ki nti kati kirabika waliwo kituuse ku liso lyange?
Baali lumu nga twali tugenza okukola, twalina gye twali tusenze ettaka. Kati twali tunyuse nga ndi mukomawo, korona linvuze ppiki, twali tetugendedde mu mmotoka. Ndi mukomawo nga nze ndi ku ppiki bw'omu nga nkomawo waka. Timba nkomawo nga ndi mu kkubo, ekiwuka kyava eri ne kingwa ku liiso. Naye nga kyali kinene, salaba oba kyali kiwuka ki, naye nga kyali kiwuka kyangwa ku liiso. Nkungwa ku liiso, ne mpaakinga ebbali, nga ntandise owulira peyini y'amaanyi. Ne ndikunya, olikunya nerikakanamu nensimbula nengenda. Natuuka ewaka nembeera free obudde obwo. Kati nenkeera nembeera free. Wayitawo ennaku 2, peyini nekomawo, nenziramu nenjiwulira. Bwe naddamu nenjiwulira, nengendako mu ddwaliro. Nagenda mu kiriniki nengulayo akadagala k'amaaso. Nga peyini ekyannuma nenkagula nenkatonyezaako wiiki nnamba. Nensirika peyini nga tekyannuma. Awo nembeera free. Banga neriyitawo nga nkola bulungi emirimu gyange. Banga neriyitawo lya mwezi nga gumu. Peyini eyo nekomawo. Mukomawo nenziramu nengula akadagala. Naye ng'ekomawo mu ssaawa ng'emu nerikuma mu ssaawa ng'emu n'omutakula, nenziramu nengula akadagala era nenkassaako ku liiso nga nkateekako ku makya lwaggulo. Nerimala nerisirika. Then waddamu wayitawo omwezi gumu ne kujjako akantu akeeru ku liiso. Bwe kajja ku liiso nekitwala ebbanga. Jjukira ffe abalenzi kale abasajja tulawo tunula mu mmiro oba okola ki. Ate waliwo eyakalaba ku liiso lyange nga nze sinakalaba. Ngamba kati kulaba n'akantu ku liiso kaavuddewa koze muli sure nga kutunulako mu mmira nendolaba akantu kituufu kwe kali ku liiso naye nga kakyali katodo aka white. Ne baŋŋamba okimanyi nti olina ensenke. Koze ensenke nga sibimanyi ebyensenke. Ne baŋŋamba oyina ensenke. Koze ensenke kyeki? Nti ke kakantu akawayiti akali kuli ku liiso. Konze kati kavuddeko katya. Ne baŋŋamba tulina omuntu akola ki? Ajjanjaba ensenke. Waliwo omukadde ajjanjaba ensenke. Konze ntwalayo oyo omukadde ajjanjaba ensenke. Ne bantwalayo ne ŋŋendayo ne mulaba nampa eddagala. Okumpa eddagala n'aŋŋamba oliteekako ku makya lwaggulu, eddagala lya habo. Ne nkikola, yampa wiiki emu. Ne nkikola. Wiiki n'eyitawo nga tewaliwo kyenji. Ne nzirayo omukadde. N'amugamba kyenji yagaanye. N'aŋŋamba walikozesa nga bwe nakugamba? Nze eddagala mbadde nga ndikozesa mukadde. Naddamu dde nannyongera eddagala lya wiiki emu. Era nenziramu ne ngikozesa wiiki nnamba. Ngenda olaba eriiso terikyuka ate akantu kagenda keeyongera kakola ki? Kagejja. Eyo saddayo ne mmanya nti kati oyalayika eddagala lyeyampa lyaggwako oba ffu. Ne mbako gwe neebuuza omulala ne bandagirira ew'omulala. Ne ŋŋenda era ne bampa eddagala era nga lya habo. Era buli andaba aŋŋamba oyina ensenke. Ensenke naye bagijjanjaba. Ngende ew'omulala nampa eddagala lya habo. Era ne ndikozesa nga bwe yaŋŋamba. Ne ndikozesa. Ne wayitawo ebbanga lya wiikisi zaali 3. Ne tuyingira omwezi mulamba. Tewali kyenji, akantu keeyongera kugejja. Ne ŋŋamba ekirwadde nga kigenda maaso ki ekigenda okumponya. Naye nga buli andabako aŋŋamba oyina ensenke. Lwaki togijjanjaba? Ne baba bannaaye eddagala ndikozesa naye kyenji tekola ki? Kyenji tekyuka. Ne ŋŋamba kati ebya habo mbikoze ki? Ebyokuŋŋamba simanyiwo najjanjaba ensenke mbikooyi nga simanyi kyenzijjanjaba. Mpulira buwulizi nsenke. Awo nga tugenda myezi 2 ndowooza n'ekitundu. Awo ne nsituka. Twali waka ku mawulire. Bandiko ku TV nendaba nga balanga waliwo gye bagenda okujjanjabira amaaso. Abalanga abalina ensenke, ebirwadde bingi eby'amaaso. Ne ŋŋenda kooro nendaba omusawo. Eriiso ne balikebera. Mu ddikebera ne baŋŋamba paati emu efudde naye endala ekyakola ki? Ekyalaba. Ne mbagamba tukoze tutya? Ne baŋŋamba naye tugenda kuggyako akanyama ku liiso. Tulyoke tutegeere kizibu ki ky'oyina oba kirwadde ki. Tusobola kulongoosa nga tutegedde kirwadde. Ne bampayo wiiki emu ne nkomawo. Ne banziggyako akanyama. Okunziggyako akanyama ne baŋŋamba tugenda kukubira nga results zikomyewo tukubuulire ki ekyavuddeyo tulyoke tumanye ekiddako. Wiiki emu ne ngirinda bandi awo ne bankubira essimu musawo. N'aŋŋamba jangu okime results zo zaakomyewo. Ne ŋŋenda ne nkima results zange. Bwe natuukayo musawo n'aŋŋamba atanampa results n'aŋŋamba ng'azigyeyo n'aŋŋamba okimanyi oyina kansa. So kansirikamu awo. Nampita David yampita emirundi nga 3 nga simuddamu. N'aŋŋamba togwamu maanyi. Namugamba musawo kiddemu ky'ogambye. N'aŋŋamba okimanyi oyina kansa. Namugamba sikimanyi gwakigambye. N'aŋŋamba eriiso lyo lyafuna kansa. Namugamba musawo ky'ogamba kiri serious. N'aŋŋamba ye results zino zaakoze ki? Zaakomyewo. Ne mpulira nga amaanyi gampeddemu.
Bamaze kugamba nti olina kansa. Kati amaanyi ago wagajja agakutwala okuva ekirudu paka mulago nga tostopingamu awo makati because nze nsobola okutya ne bangamba olina kansa nsooka dde waka ne nsooka ne nkaaba. Naye kati awo wafuna otya willpower ekujja ekirudu ogende mulago straight.
Okufuna amaanyi bwe yansindika mulago yangamba eriiso lye oyagala litaasibwe mangu. gende wa Mulago kati gende wono dokita awo ne ngamba nina kikolerawo bwe yakingamba nampe namba ya dokita ngende Mulago era navayo buvi kirudu nensala nengende Mulago kati bwe natuuka Mulago yali tangambye nti oba ngenda Mulago mpya oba mukadde nenga mpadde namba ya dokita ne mukubira ne tugenderawo Mulago essaawa eyo koolu nengendayo musawo ne mulaba kati agenda tunula ku liiso nga kiri too much nga teri kyasobola kutaasibwa nangamba eriiso omanye ekiddako konze simanyi liiso tulina kulijjamu obudde obwo nga sikyalina kyakukola kuba pain yali y'amaanyi ate bamaze okungamba lirina kansa musawo ne mugamba musawo ekibanga kyekiriwo tukikole kati nangamba naye olina okuddayo mu process emabega mu ddwaliro ofune ebyogera ku liiso byonna byonna oyite mu process bw'onootuuka okulongoosa nze nja kukulongoosa ng'omaliriza biri byonna nampayo ennaku 2 nenkomawo nentandika obikolako nembikolako kyantwalira weeks ndowooza 3 ezayitawo nga mmaliriza obikolako era nentuka ekiseera ne bampa olunaku lw'okulijjamu eriiso balumpa mpaala zaali nga 15 Desemba nengenda eriiso ne balijjamu kolondooza lwe banzijjamu eriiso twali oba 2 twali 3 kati nga bagenda tujjamu amaaso bwe twatuukayo buli omu n'agumira ku munne ate tugenda otutuukayo ate nga waliwo gwe twasangayo ng'ate ye eriye baalijjeemu kati ate naye n'atugumya n'atugamba kisoboka mwina okuguma naye ng'okutya kungi kati we twamala ne bannongoosa okunongoosa n'embeerayo ennaku 3 ne bansiibula okunsiibula ne bampeerako eddagala nenkomawo ewaka eddagala ne ndikozesa ekiseera ne kituuka kye baali bangambye okuddayo nenzirayo ne bankolako ne bankyusa bandagi ne bankyusa plasita ne baddamu ne bampa ebbanga eddala kati awo eryayitawo n'eddagala lye baali bampaddewo eryaggwawo nenzirayo wa musawo nemugamba musawo eddagala lyaweddewo ki terimpise bubi nagamba eddagala lyebanga lye baakuwa lyaweddewo
nga lya wiikemu
lyali lya wiikemu lye bampa nanga lye baakuwa lyeryo toyongerako ddala then wayitawo wiiki endala nga sirikozesa kati wiiki we yaggwako nentandika owulira pain nemukubira nemugamba musawo ntandise owulira pain nagamba gulayo awo ku ddagala ngamba gula dynap gulayo awo ku ddagala ogira omira eryo nenkikola nengulayo ku ddagala paka nakati ne wayitawo wiiki emu nendivaako nga sikyawulira pain paka nakati kati sikyawulira pain
naye wava ku ddagala otugambye operation wagifuna December 15th 2025 last year okuva ku December 15th bwafuna operation obulamu buli butya
obulamu siyinza kulimba nti bulungi era siyinza kulimba nti ndi musanyufu naye oba olina kuguma n'ekiriwo kuba kyekyo kirina okubeerawo emirimu gyafa bingi ng'omuntu by'olina otambuza ebintu byo kati omuntu eyali abeera ewange kati natuuka ekiseera nga sisobola kwemanaginga nenkomawo ewa mukadde nga yanzijanjaba era anzijanjabye banzijanjabye ne muzeeyi siyinza kulimba nti obulamu kati bulinga we bwali kyekituufu
kati omuntu atulaba ssaawa zino ayita mu mbeera nga gye wayitamu tikyosobola omugamba nga lye yatidde taagala agende mu ddwaliro oba siki
ekisooka kyenjagala okumugamba era ekizibu ekitulimu abantu kizibu kiri kimu okubeerawo ng'ofunye ekirwadde n'otagenda mu ddwaliro okukebera okozesa eddagala lya habo bana eddagala li habo litusudde mu buzibu okulagirira nti genda wona akweddagala n'oli akweddagala bannange ekyo kikyamu nze singa first time we nasookera nagenderawo mu ddwaliro ne balikebera singa eriso lyange teryatuuka ku kyalyako lijjamu naye bandagiranga eddagala ng'ate kyaka eddagala lye bampanga ate lyalinga lidestroyinga liiso nga lyonoona liiso nze ndowooza nzijanjaba kumba ate ndyonoona bwonoona kati ye advice gye nsooka obbawo aba ofunanga ekirwadde kyonna baleke kozesanga ddagala nga tagenze mu ddwaliro genda mu ddwaliro bakebere olyoke omanye ekituufu.
That is David's story, David Ochang. He had his eye removed because of that story he has been explaining. To him, he was hit by a bug in the eye or an insect, and that's where the story began. But with the doctor here, we need to understand whether it was truly this or something else, because a lot of us get hit in our eyes by something from day to day, but we don't get to that level. So there is something more that we need to understand. So Dr. Irene Nansubuga is already here, and I'm sorry that I cut her off earlier. I had to bring that story first and foremost so that we have a basis on what we are discussing. So now I'll take it back to you, Irene. Talk to us about eye surface growths. What are they in simple language?
Thank you, Viola. Good morning, dear viewers. My name is Irene Nansubuga. So the eye surface, when you look at my eye, your eye, there is the white part and the black part. So the white part has something very thin, like a membrane, shiny. That's the conjunctiva. So that conjunctiva sometimes gets different growths. Locally in the central, we call them ebinyama. Yes. Yeah. So those different growths can sometimes be cancerous, sometimes they are not cancerous, depending. For me as a professional, I can look at it and be suspicious of this looks cancerous, this does not look cancerous. The definitive way to know is when we have cut it off and sent it to our friends in pathology, and then they tell us definitively, this is cancerous, this is precancerous, this is not. But these are just abnormalities. They're usually raised. They are raised on that eye surface, and they can grow and attack the transparent part of your eye, what we call the cornea. They can still grow and attack the white part. Remember I've said there's a membrane, and then the white, the bag of the eye. So they can also attack that bag of the eye, and then they can eat up the lids, and then attack the muscles of the eye, and then also eat up the bones of the eye and go to the brain. If it is cancerous. If it is not cancerous, sometimes it just grows and covers the surface of your eye, but when it's not eating up the rest of the eye. Both ways it causes irritation, it causes discomfort, vision loss. If it is cancerous, it also causes death.
So what are the causes of these two types? The non-cancerous as well as the cancerous? I read somewhere about UV radiation as well as dust. Okay,
so the different risk factors, we call them risk factors, the things that make you a higher candidate for them. So for the non-cancerous ones, there are different things. One, being African, the environment we are in, the dust, the sun, the high sun exposure comes with a lot of UV, so it's one of the risk factors. And then the dust and the wind that come with it, and then we keep scratching. With the scratching makes us irritate the conjunctiva. And when we irritate it, it can modify itself into so many other things, including some of those things. And then age. As we grow older, sometimes some of these things come as age comes in. Also, when people begin growing older, their immunity changes. So the things that normally you are fighting off as a child, your body stops fighting them off as an adult. Then the cancerous ones, also things that lower your immunity. HIV is one of them. Previously we had run a long way in battling HIV, and so many of these things had gone down. And you will find they're more common in the areas that have high prevalences of HIV. But also of recent, diabetes, sukari. Yes, it's another risk factor because it also lowers your immunity. Like the surface they've just shown on the camera, that one is a squamous cell. It's caused by a germ called HPV, human papilloma virus. It can happen on any of our surfaces. It can be in the mouth, in the eyes, in the cervix. It's the same virus that causes cervical cancer. So it can also happen on the eye. But sometimes it's there and it's not causing any issues because your body can fight. But when you get diabetes and your immunity drops, then it overgrows and then you end up with a cancer. When you get HIV and your immunity drops, even extremes of stress can lower your immunity and you end up with that kind of presentation.
Yeah, let's talk about David's story for a bit, for those who were able to watch and listen to what he was saying. And for anybody who didn't understand, he was talking about how he was hit by, I believe, like a fly or something like that in his eye. He was riding a boda or a motorcycle, and then, yeah, that's where his story begins. But you are the doctor here, and I want to understand, I have been hit by something in my eye before. And I believe several other people, not to poke holes in his story, but I just found it very fascinating that something could hit him and he ends up with cancer. Is that real?
That's David's belief, and I'm not here to say he's telling a lie or not. Bugs hit people's eyes so often, especially boda riders, and they cause so many things, trauma. Sometimes they end up with corneal scars, but also there is something that many, especially the male gender, they are not very good at checking out how they look. I'm thinking David had this growing, but he really never paid attention. My thoughts, because I was not with him when it started.
Yeah.
My thoughts are this was there, he never paid attention to it. But the world has a way of protecting people. So probably when the insect fell in his eye, he attended to it because there was pain and then there was this growth. Yes, and there is a bit where he says he used eye drops, probably if he used steroids. There are those other eye drops that are steroid based, that worsened the growth because steroid feed this. They lower the immunity of the eye further. So if the virus was already there growing at a slower rate and then you're putting eye drops that have a steroid, you're helping it grow because you're lowering the immunity further. And then somewhere he mentioned that he used herbal medicines. That just worsens it because you're adding other germs because we don't know how clean this herbal medicine is. And then you're also burning, some of it burns up. So you're burning the surface of the eye and enabling this cancer grow even further. Yeah. So he had so many risk factors.
When he talked about herbal medicine, I sort of believed it must have, fired up the cancer that was underneath. But about the eye drops, a lot of people use eye drops, from time to time, some for beauty treatments. Talk to us about eye drops and how safe or dangerous are they?
So normally I tell people there's a reason as to why people go back to school for 3, 4, 5 years to do this master's in ophthalmology or a degree in optometry. Go to that specialist, to the person who has studied eye care treatment. Many of our friends in the pharmacies, yes, they know the basics, and we do not refute that. But many times these self-prescribed medications come with their side effects. I once told people that steroids, like I've seen it in people with allergic conjunctivitis, like the ones they call the allergies of the eyes. The steroid will give you quick relief. You do not know how long you're using it for. Then by the time you come to me, the eye care specialist, your pressures are high. And you'll be like, oh, the eyes have been paining. And normally there is something they will accuse. Since the other time when I knocked my head, the eye has been paining. Since the other time when this one touched my eye, the eye has been paining. Or I've been putting on my shades and I got wrong shades. Now the eyes have been paining. They rarely talk about the eye drop they've been using. That is the actual culprit. So get these medications from the professionals. sometimes I keep do not think you know more than them. Go to them. They're there for a reason.
And speaking about professionals, you know, Doctor, when we return from this break, we shall talk about access to healthcare in Uganda, because David actually went to a clinic and he also got similar information to what he already perceived, and yeah, that could have escalated the problems. So, dear viewer, we are taking a break, but stay with us and prepare your questions so that later on you can call in and ask the doctor directly. We return after this. Welcome back from the break, and thanks so much for staying with us. You are watching NTV Medical Matters. My name is Viola Kusasia, and we are supported by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And today in studio we have Dr. Irene Nansubuga. She's a specialist. She does eye care and eye treatment. And so we're here to discuss and understand further what eye surface growths are. So we have a picture that we shall be putting on your screen to show you exactly how some of the cancerous, would say, cells or spots start in your eye. So the white part that grows on your white part of the eye, in my simple understanding of simple language, is what? It's the beginning of cancer, eye cancer. So, doctor, let's talk about that white thing you mentioned earlier, just to understand further. When that thing develops on your eye, the white spot, that is what David saw first. Actually, his friends, he had no mirror. He says he had no mirror, so his friend, as well as, exactly, that was it. So with family, they saw that and asked him, what's that on your eye? And that's where the conversation, you know, danced for so many months, and he did not go to seek treatment.
Okay, so let me first clarify something. So David said, the family members and the people he saw said, Eyo Now, Ensenke is a cataract, and it is inside the eye. What that picture that has been on is a chinyama, that one.
Dr. Irene, can you explain that in Luganda, if you don't mind, just to help some of our viewers?
Let me say it in a Luganda statement.
Yes, please.
So, ensenke ebera munda muliiso, mumunye, bw'otunula mumunye kungulu oba ogiraba, naye munda mwebeera. Ekinyama ekyeru kati ng'ekyo ekiri ku screen kibeera kungulu ku liiso. So kansa ezisinga ez'eriiso zitandika ng'akanyama ako akakantu akatono akeeru k'olaba. That's how the cancers begin. Kwako akabubi k'eriiso. So you see that white part, that's on the membrane. On top, the cornea, what the Baganda called emunye y'eriiso, is certainly very fine.
Yes.
Yes. And then the other thing is, you notice around that white thing there, it's red around it. That's another suspicious sign to look at. The growth is white, sometimes it's pink and white, and being African, sometimes it's white, black, and pink.
Yeah.
With very many blood vessels around it. Even if there are two prominent ones, question it. Because most times when you put the steroids, the herbal, to something that small, within 2 to 3 weeks, it grows quite rapidly. That's another thing. The non-cancerous ones take their time, and when you're listening to their history, they'll tell you, oh, this thing has been there for 1 year. But the cancerous ones, they will tell you, oh, that thing has been there for 1 month, for 3 weeks, for 2 months. So they grow rapidly, like typical cancers. And it can progress from something that small, and then it will eat both front and back. So it will attack the cornea. After attacking the cornea, now it will enter inside the eye. It will begin eating onto that white part of the eye, and then begin eating the eyelids, and then the story continues into the brain. And many people, actually, because of the delays, there are some of those delays that are preventable. Some are on the system, some are on the patient. Sometimes they end up in the wrong healthcare facility. The peripheral facilities, sometimes even some of our very junior colleagues do not even know that that is cancerous. So we have a part to play to educate them also. I don't know. We'll find a way to educate our very junior colleagues that you see when you see something like this, refer the patient. Sometimes they go to healthcare facilities where people think they know it and they try to remove it and not give them the right medication, so it comes back. And when it comes back full swing. I'll be grateful to the team in Chirudo, because when they saw this, they referred him quickly. But then, unfortunately for David, when they referred him to us, because he was referred in March, he reached us in November. So in between there, I don't know whether he lacked transportation. I don't know whether the Habo people got him in the middle there.
Oh, Habo. He talked to me about, you know, using Habo medicine 3 times.
Yeah.
3 different herbalists.
So around there, that Habo was just worsening the cancer growth. So the person who saw him first and removed it, because it's not that everyone who gets that kind of cancer has their eyeball removed. No. Currently, we have operated on around almost 400 eyes, and they are cured, and they have their eyes intact. Oh. And their sight is intact. So depending on what stage you come, if David had made it around March when he was referred to us, chances are high his eye would still be in there. Because you see, we scrape that thing off, like we cut it out, send it to the lab, we ask the lab to tell us about the margins.
Yes.
Those margins tell us a lot, whether the cancer had grown up to where our eyes were seeing, or there is more. Thankfully, the government has provided the chemotherapy we need. The patients don't buy it. Maybe a few eye drops here and there that we use to mix the eye drops. And I know our government is working on even providing those eye drops. We mix chemotherapy for them. We do not, nowadays, if it is early, we do not have to infuse chemotherapy into their blood vessels. It's topical. I will not lie to you that it is comfortable. It's not. Yeah. And the first few weeks, some patients tell you, oh, doctor, you're not my friend. It's okay. I'm not going to be your friend for just a few weeks. But after that, we'll be friends. It comes with pain sometimes, with a light sensitivity, but it's only for a few weeks, 4 weeks, maximum 5 weeks. And your eyes, you know, spared, and their vision is spared. Yeah. So some of those delays cause a lot of issues, and then the advisors, oh, you can try this, or you can try that.
Yeah, that is something that I would actually wish you to, you know, re-echo to our viewers over and over about the delay, but also what do you think is the problem with us, I included, when it comes to seeking medical attention fast enough?
So there's so many things I can think about. One, sometimes it's the finances. Even transportation coming to the hospital may be a problem for some people, and it's understandable. Then there are also those who just fear the public facilities.
Do we really understand the exact places we are supposed to go to for these services?
I do not think so.
Yes, because I wouldn't want to judge us, you know, the public so harshly when it comes to understanding. He mentioned that he made an effort to go to a clinic to seek advice.
So there is a bit of, before I go into understanding where they're supposed to go, there is also the bit where the public fears the public facilities. Because they think the lines are so long, or they think they will not be attended to. Yeah, sometimes they land into the hands of the wrong people. I think by the time David reached me, he had tried to come to hospital, but at first he had landed in the hands of the wrong person, and the person had asked them for so much money. And I told him, no, David, that surgery is going to be done for free here.
And he got into, I had conmen as well.
Yeah, he told me, oh, doctor, by the time I reached you, oh, I landed into the hands of the wrong people, and they told me this and that. That's unfortunate. The system, bosses are trying their best to make sure at least they get rid of most of the conmen who disguise as the doctors and all that. It was
so sad. It was very...
But also, I think people don't know where to go. Yeah. Blanketly, I can say, get to the professionals. I do not have a problem with the clinics, but if you see something, I'll speak for the eyes. The eyes are a very sensitive part of our bodies, and they contribute a lot to your beauty. They have a lot in the statement, like the first appearance someone has when they look at you. So kindly make it to the government hospitals you fear, or at least a big private hospital. If you really want to go to a private hospital, make it to the big private hospitals where you'll see an eye specialist. Because also sometimes the delays come from seeing someone who, like a medical personnel, who will not know that this is an eye cancer, and then they'll give you a trial treatment.
You know, I also just wanted you to talk a bit about some of these medical professionals. I don't want to call them professional, but who hold on to patients even though they know they will not cure what's going on.
Yeah, we are working on that as the Uganda Medical Association with the current president, Dr. Asimwe, to try and create awareness amongst ourselves to encourage referral of patients, because we can't know it all. Yes, I know a good bit about eyes, but even in the eyes, there are conditions I refer to my colleagues, because that's not where I'm super specialized. Now, if a patient comes with a breast lump, I will not handle that. I'll send you to someone else, because the breast, I have the general knowledge of all that the breast anatomy is this, and this is an anomaly. I can tell an anomaly and know where to send you. So I think even us as healthcare workers, we have that part to play. Do not hold on to a patient whose diagnosis you're not sure you will treat to the very end. Yeah.
So for somebody watching and perhaps have this lump that we just saw on the screen, it's quite frankly scary once we look at David's story and how it ended. So for somebody watching and wondering, where do I go starting today, looking at an eye on screen that looks like mine, where do I go? How do I begin?
It has to be an eye hospital. I don't know where the viewer is. If you're in the central, we run a clinic, an ophthalmology clinic. Yes, even that. Now that is the one I was talking about.
Yeah.
You saw that the previous picture showed the small white lesion. So when it begins growing, it grows to that.
Oh my goodness.
So anything like the previous picture, anything like the picture currently on the screen, we run an ophthalmology clinic at the Uganda Cancer Institute every Tuesday from 8 to 5 p.m. every Tuesday. So make it there. I usually tell people make it to level 3, that's gate number 2, level 3. At least we are there. The nurses are there to help. I am there personally to help every Tuesday.
How possible is that for somebody watching from up country as far as the border but is interested?
So, I'll try to list a few hospitals. So normally in the east, at least I know there's Tororo, Benedictine Hospital, try there. Soroti also has an eye hospital. Karamoja has our colleague, Dr. Ato. She's there. And the beauty is they refer these patients. So some of them in the process of referral decide to, you know, go to other places. Yes, but I've gotten referrals from Dr. Ato. She has sent me patients who sometimes decide to disappear in there, and then they come when they have metastasis to the brain, like the cancer's gone to the brain.
Yeah.
But yes, Karamoja has Dr. Ato at Moroto. Then the north has an eye hospital at Gulu and Lira hospitals. Dr. Shamim is in Lira. Then Dr. Onen and Dr. Vicky are in Gulu. Then Yumbe has Dr. Tim. Then the west has quite a number. There is Dambara Regional Referral Hospital. There's Roharo, the hospital. Masaka has a regional referral hospital. Then here in the central, we have at Uganda Cancer Institute, and even Mulago also has an eye clinic. So there are quite a number of hospitals in the region. Just go to the right hospital. Desist from trying to first, you know, getting a shortcut. We've grown up when we are being told that shortcuts are often the wrong cuts.
Oh, yeah.
So go the long way, but to the right person.
As I have two questions, somebody may talk about not being able to afford the treatment at those public hospitals. How is the handling? Do they require to pay? Apart from maybe footing their transport bills, do they require to pay?
So most of the times, the treatments are there. At least at Cancer Institute, the chemo is there. It's only on a few times because the population is the population. Whatever is stocked gets done. So sometimes when you come in, like when the patient comes in, when there is a stock out, we may ask you to buy. Rarely is it chemo. It is the supportive treatments.
Oh, yeah.
At least at the Cancer Institute, rarely do we tell you to buy chemo. It's the supportive treatments, the natural tears, the ointment at bedtime. Those ones we will definitely ask you to buy that if it's out of stock. But the chemo that we will mix in this supportive treatment, most times it's there.
We spoke against herbal as well as just using random eye drops and Panadol. So let's talk about the real treatment for any of those given cases you've talked about, non-cancerous, cancerous. Where do we begin, and how bad is that treatment? I would love to believe that some of the people that run away or take shortcuts are really running away from the pain or imagination, perception of pain. So how can you explain that to anybody wondering how crazy it's going to be?
So I think one of the things that makes our patients fear, because most of the times it's the fear, some of the eye surgeries we do, the patient is awake. We numb out only that eye. Yeah, because general surgery comes with its sequelae. Yeah. It comes with its consequences. So many times we do not want, why should I put you through general surgery if I'm going to do an eye surface surgery? So let me numb out only that part that I'm going to operate on. It also helps me follow through, because when I'm operating on you, I need to look a certain way, or look this side, or look the other side, or look up, look down. I need you awake. So when you explain this to them, because you have to get informed consent from this patient, when you explain it to them, it freaks them out.
Absolutely. David talked about that.
I normally tell people, look at the ones who have made it through. You see how as little children we look at our parents and you're like, oh, my parents made it through this, I'll make it. So look at the patients who have made it through. The 400 plus we've worked on, and they were awake and their eyes could see. Because when you come at an early stage, we are going to like peel off that cancerous bit. Then we shall write for you chemo to put in the eye. We will see you every week, because chemo also has its disadvantages, like the side effects that come with it. But just because, what do I say it? Oh, there is an angel and a devil to it. So we want to see you to manage the devil, to make sure that the devil is well controlled. But even for those, so whatever stage you come, we have management for you. The early stages are better. We can spare the eye, we can spare sight. For David's case, by the time he came, the cancer had eaten into the eyeball and some of the muscles, but at least the lids were spared. So when we're doing the surgery, we try to spare his lids, with the hope that by the time he finishes his radiotherapy, we'll be able to put for him an artificial eye, something that will be cosmetic, for him to move around without looking like, you know, cosmetically appalling.
I was going to ask you a question about what future is there for somebody whose eye or eyes have been removed?
I really do not want to say eyes, because by the time we're removing both eyes, you know, sometimes the patients think, oh, the doctors just want to remove, but it's also traumatizing to us. It breaks us down to have to remove someone's eye. That's why we're taking this effort of, let us tell you, can you come early? But yes, I'm hoping it's just one eye that we have to. And even when we do, we try our level best. We let them know that it's not the end. After these treatments, there's an option of a prosthesis.
That is the artificial
eye.
Okay.
Yes, there are different types depending on how the eye has been removed. If it is just the bag and your muscles were intact, then there is one that we can sit in. If the muscles were removed, there is one that also comes with the upper part of the skin, and sometimes you have to do makeup for it to look, you know, like your face. It doesn't come with eyelids, so it will look a bit different. If the lids have been spared, there's also another one that will sit in your fornices. The fornices are those gaps between your eyes, so it will sit in there and be able to move, basically, so that someone doesn't go like, oh, this person has a space in their face.
Have you seen cases where, have you come across cases where you can replace the eyes with animal eyes?
We don't do animal eyes. There's the common...
I don't know. I've heard about that.
There's the common belief of... actually, yes, even when I was growing up, you would hear it in the population that we are going to put the sheep's eye. No, it's not the sheep's eye. I don't know who started the notion of the sheep's eye, but no, it's not. It's not. It's an artificial eye. It's an acrylic eye. We use PMMA, we use acrylic. These are medical powders that we mix with medical liquids, and we make for you an eye that you cannot react to. The goal is to make sure whatever we put in your eye, in your socket, that hole, it's called a socket. So whatever we put in your socket, your body should not recognize it so that it doesn't fight it.
There are days that I've seen those eyes, but they don't look uniform. Why is that?
So there have been pre-made eyes that are being imported, and depending, sometimes the pre-mades are meant for a different population, not for the African race. At the Uganda Cancer Institute, we're working out something to make sure we can customize this care to our patients. We recognize our patients are African. We're training people, and the goal is to make sure that we can customize these eyes to the person's other eye.
Absolutely.
Also, age matters. So the pre-mades work well with children because the eyes are still white. But you, myself, our eyes are not pure white. Like the sclera is not pure white anymore. So that's where the customization comes in.
Speaking about eye white, sorry, cut you off, I just remembered something again about eye drops or something similar. I've seen people use that in beauty treatment to whiten their eyes as they go. How safe is that?
So the eye whiteners work by blanching. You see the small red tiny string-like things in your eye, those are blood vessels, and they're meant to feed your eye, to nourish it. But I don't know why they appall so many people and they annoy them by being there. I mean, this thing is feeding your eye. Why are you fighting it off? So people want them off, and they get these herbal eye drops. I've seen some on the market to blanch them away. But eventually, because they'll use them for 1-2 weeks constantly, and then they'll come to you, oh, the eye is tearing, or the eye feels like there is sand. But you're the one who blanched it. You're the one who cut off its nourishment. So it's responding to what you gave it. I wouldn't push for it.
Okay, let's talk about the artificial eye again, and I would love to call it that so that we're on the same page here in understanding. But how safe is that, especially knowing that this was a cancerous eye that was removed? So how cured is the patient by the time you get to that stage of replacing the eye?
So most times it depends, first of all, on the cancer. Now for these ones, I'm going to also take you back a bit in the management. So we said for the people who present early, we're going to remove the cancer, scrape it off, give topical treatment, usually 4 weeks, but monitor you for 6 weeks. And then if you're good to go, we'll see you like once a year or twice a year after the whole treatment is done. Then there are those who come where it has only eaten into the sclera, but it has spared the cornea. There is what we call, I'm trying to find a way of, we call it, it's a plate, it's a radiotherapy plate. So we sit it on the eye, and it's able to burn out that cancer. And then after the cancer has been burnt out completely, we judge whether we're continuing to give you chemo or you're good to go. Now, for the ones where we need to remove that eye, there is a wound. That socket is a wound. You saw like David, he still had his pressure pad. Because the eye is connected to a major vessel that comes from your heart. So the flow of blood is normally high. So we want to pad it tight. I know he had tampered with his, so it wasn't as tight as I had put it.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, but after doing that, during that process of your healing, that's when we want you to now do the bookings for radiotherapy. It also comes with its own challenges, but it's treatment. So after radiotherapy and the eye has calmed down completely, the socket is no longer fresh. It has, like the mucous membranes have healed very well. Then now we measure that socket. If we need to reconstruct, we plan for it. Because sometimes by the time you finish the radiotherapy, the socket has become maybe smaller, so we may need to reconstruct it. It's usually a team, the ophthalmologist, we call them the maxillofacial surgeons. It's a team. Sometimes you may need to also have a neuro around just to make sure the brain is not affected anywhere.
Okay.
Then now we plan on sitting your prosthesis there after the reconstruction. If the socket was not affected in any way, we take the measurements and we plan on sitting your prosthesis there.
Okay, so what you're going to do now for us is that this information is quite a lot, and I believe our viewers are just taking notes, but I would like you to share your contact with them so that they can know where to go. And I really imagine there must be sick people watching right now, so please share your contact or anywhere they can find you. So
it's the Uganda Cancer Institute every Tuesday. Tomorrow, they'll find me there every Tuesday, 8 to 5 p.m. We will be there to serve. The contact is 0704 43 34 96. If you call when I'm on table, I may not reply, send a WhatsApp. I make sure, at least the team makes sure the WhatsApps are answered.
Okay, so I would like to also just bring it up in this moment that in case you skipped that number or didn't get it clearly, you will find this episode on YouTube at NTV Uganda, so you can be able to extract the contact from there, but also just to watch again and review and also understand what the doctor is talking about. So anything else that we need to know about eye surface growth or any related illness?
So when you notice any surface growth, any abnormal growth, any chinyama. Unfortunately, I don't know the other languages. I don't know how to put it. Yes, but when you notice it, take it to the nearest eye care facility. That's number one. 2, desist from trying to treat the eye conditions yourself. Get help from the professionals. 3, the eye is not very responsive to herbal medicine. When you put the herbal medicine, you're causing more harm than good. Go to the professionals. 4, when you are referred to the professionals, do your best to come in time. We are not out here to try and harm you. We are here to provide the care that you need. And at whatever stage you are, you can still be helped. And not every eye surgery leads to loss of vision. For as long as you've come early, your vision could actually be spared, because I know that's the biggest worry people have. Yeah. For as long as you come early, your vision could actually be spared. And then the other one, I know we're in an era where ARVs may be a challenge now, considering funding and all, because this is so common amongst people on art. Serocompromised people. Let's do a status checking. Check your status, know where you stand, and if diagnosed positive, it's not the end of the world. Go start your medications, because when you've not started your medications, your immunity is going to go down. So on top of the eye cancer, even the other cancers will follow suit. The cervical cancer, all the other cancers that are caused by this same germ, the HPV germ, will come. And then finally, I know it's not related to the eye, but it's related to the HPV. And this is the opportunity I've gotten. The mothers out there, I'm a woman, and I also have a daughter, and mothers out there, fathers out there with their daughters, 9 years, and I think sexually, they normally do 9 years, 10 years. Endeavor to take them for that HPV vaccination. You could be saving them not just from the cervical cancer, but also from the eye cancer.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor, for making time and for talking to our viewers today about eye cancer. And that will be the end for today. So we are letting you go, but we appreciate your insights. And thank you, dear viewers, for being a part of this conversation today about eye cancer, about eye surface growth. But just as you know, we shall always have more episodes about eye care and just following up to see whether this was really impactful. My name is Viola Psasia. It's NTV Medical Matters. We are supported by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Enjoy the rest of the week.